Education Secretary Betsy DeVos has been perhaps the most controversial member of Trump's cabinet. Last week, the Senate just barely confirmed her nominee to head the Office of Civil Rights. He's for Israel, against affirmative action, and the left is not too happy. Let's take a look. The Senate confirmed Kenneth L Marcus as Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights in DeVos's Education Department by a 50-46 vote. Marcus served in the same position under former President George W. Bush and currently serves as president of the Brandeis Center for Human Rights Under Law, which fights anti-Semitism on college campuses. Marcus has presented the case for why boycotting Israel is illegal, says that such boycotts are arguably anti-Semitic and may breach the academic freedom of students and professors. Rahul Saxena, who's a staff attorney for Palestine Legal, said, "Marcus's record clearly demonstrates that his primary mission is not to protect students' civil rights. It is to shield Israel from criticism. It's unconscionable that the US Senate has confirmed him to oversee civil rights enforcement in Betsy DeVos's Department of Education, even as Israel continues to gun down Palestinians protesting for their rights in Gaza." Yeah, you know, just innocent Palestinian protesters. It's not as though Hamas launches rocket strikes and suicide attacks against Israelis. It's not as though Palestinians get taught in school to hate and perhaps even kill Jewish Israelis. It's not as though at least 50 of the 62 people killed by Israel during the May US Embassy ceremony belong to Hamas or Islamic Jihad, as claimed by the groups themselves. But Marcus has also gotten heat for opposing affirmative action. Look at this. A coalition representing over 200 organizations said, "Mr. Marcus has also opposed affirmative action and equal opportunity initiatives." The Brandeis Center argued that public institutions should not be allowed to use race-conscious admissions programs. Let's get one thing straight. Affirmative action does not equal equality of opportunity. Affirmative action is equality of outcome, and that should be opposed by anyone who thinks that things like hard work, communication, and creativity might matter a bit more in the workplace than your genitalia or how much melanin you have. The coalition also criticized Marcus for supporting DeVos's suspension of what the group calls important guidance clarifying the responsibilities of educational institutions in cases of sexual assault, and he would not commit to continuing to publish the list of colleges and universities under investigation regarding sexual assault. Yeah, as any sensible person would. Even the Washington Post blasted Obama's 2011 policy requiring that colleges find students accused of sexual assault guilty, not using a beyond a reasonable doubt standard, but instead a preponderance of the evidence one. So if there's a higher than 50% chance of guilt, boom, you're done. Even though if this standard were used in courts outside of college, it might yield a false conviction rate of up to 33%. No, this hullabaloo over Marcus's confirmation is like what happens when you give a 6-year-old 90% of the cake and they still want the other 10%. Leftists dominate academia, and so the small sliver of times they don't get their way, they're so unused to it that it seems like the end of the world. For Campus Unmasked, I'm Rob Shimshock. If you like this video and support our mission, please make sure to comment and subscribe. If something happens on your campus and you'd like us to investigate, send us details using the form on campusunmasked.com.